Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 88 of the 40k Badcast. My name is Dan Boyd, and I am joined, as always, by the 8-bit piece of shit himself, Chrono Trigger McJRPG.
Oh, that's good. Except Chrono Trigger was on the Super Nintendo, which is a 16-bit system. So I'm going to need you to go back to the drawing board and start over with that one. Maybe Dragon Quest McSlimelin? I don't know.
Dude, I am so happy with the 8-bit piece of shit line. It's came good. Up with that on the fly. And I demand that be turned into a t-shirt immediately.
Well, you keep an eye out, dear listener, for the 8-bit piece of shit t-shirt coming out sooner than I think I'm wholly comfortable with.
Wow. Okay. I thought we'd be talking about how much you love Chrono Trigger at this point. But my amazing genius seems to have usurped that from what we're going to talk about. All right. Well, we're back after a month break here. We had the holidays. Campbell, I forget what you did. You didn't really do anything.
No, nothing exciting. Just moved like 4,000 miles across the country.
And we're back, y'all. This is it. This is the first show of 2021. And I couldn't be happier. It's been a long month, Campbell.
And we're not even halfway through it.
No, it's whew. Oh, you know what? I said it. I did it.
It's been. Oh yeah. You played yourself.
I played myself. Okay, a couple of notes.
Oh no, my petard! I'm being hoisted by it.
Couple of notes before we go in. I love, Campbell, how half of our readers how about listeners that email us? I wrote readers in my notes because I'm stupid.
We have subscribers to the print edition of the 40k Badcast.
They email us and they open up with salutations like, "What up, fuckwits?" And I love it. It's great.
Yeah, there was a certain point, I think probably like the threshold got crossed like a long time ago where it was like, greet us with an insult, haha, that's funny, to greet us with an insult, actually I feel insulted now, that's not funny, and now it's back to being funny again. I assume around episode like 105 I'm gonna be like, I want a little more respect from
I can be
dildo,
especially
y'all 1969 at yahoo.com.
There are very few things in this world that I am certain of, but I am certain that we do not deserve or engender any more respect than we currently get.
I think however much respect we are getting at this particular like millisecond of time is exactly enough and nowhere near too much.
Perfect. And second, I just want to say to Eric DuPont or DuPont, and I like saying DuPont. Sounds more fancy to me. Of
the New Hampshire DuPonts.
Eric said, thanks for keeping 40k stupid. And I really, really enjoy that.
I do like that. I don't think we're the only reason 40k is stupid, but I'm happy to add to that tapestry.
I'm sorry, Campbell. 40k is serious business, and we will no longer be joking about it.
Yeah, this is actually, are we finally making the transition to the 40k Goodcast? Is that the 2021 sort of our New Year's resolution here?
Over my dead fucking body.
Now, here we are with an hour and a half of tactical analysis. I'll be going over page by page, data sheet by data sheet, today we're looking at the Space Wolves Codex, and we're going to go over the exact points value. How do you feel about Wolfguard being 22 models per man, Dan?
I love the idea of you doing serious tactical analysis because I could hear your brain like overheat in real time, and it would be really, really good for me.
I kind of had to stop and be like, is 22 a real number? Yes, it is. Okay, keep going.
Steam pouring out of your ears.
Yeah, it's just like
eyes glowing red.
Yeah, there's that thermometer thing where like my skin, my face looks kind of like a thermometer. And you just see the red going further and further and further and further up until it reaches the crown of my bald head. At which point you hear like kind of a cartoon "awooga" noise.
Yeah, a steam whistle. Yeah. All sorts of good stuff in there, huh?
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm really here for really bringing the audio visual sort of factors into here.
That is to say, I am not going to be any better tactical analysis than you are.
I mean, I've played, 45 minutes of 40K since 2020, I think. So I'm really here to be the armchair general.
I think you mean 2019. Because you didn't. Because I know what you're saying is you played 45 minutes of 40k in 2020.
Yes,
but if the impact is greater if you say since 2019, because that is at least parts of it are now 2 years old.
Don't remind me.
Okay, let's get into it. The aspects where we talk about what's on our hobby radar. I'm going to start with a little bit of hobby progress. And guess what, Campbell?
Yeah?
I'm almost done with my second squad of Blade Guard vets.
Hell yeah.
So I just have a message to you and to all the listeners, because none of y'all motherfuckers had my back. But fuck all y'all for thinking it would take me into February to finish my second squad of Vanguard vets. Fuck all of y'all. Not just one of y'all, not even two of y'all, all of y'all.
I'm going to say you should probably just knock on wood here and not make that claim until that squad's actually finished.
Motherfucker, I am on the final highlight. It is January 13th, 5:34 p.m. Eastern. I'm getting it done before February. I'll tell you that much.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll believe it when I see it.
You guys have no
I believe in you,
faith in me
but
whatsoever.
I'll believe it when I see it.
No, you don't believe in me, you piece of shit. You 8-bit piece of shit.
Bringing it back from 5 minutes ago.
Additionally, I built some Orlocks. I was just like, I was writing stuff for Necromunda for Goonhammer, and I was like, man, I want to fuck around with some Necromunda stuff. So I built the box of Orlocks with the Wreckers and the Cybermastiffs and the Arms Masters, which is a good kit.
Yeah, I've seen Fowler having a lot of fun with his.
Yeah, he's been putting them on skateboards.
Yeah, which rules.
His Orlok gang is ridiculous because they're all on skateboards. They're made after they're called the Man Wolves, and which is I can't even fucking remember. It's like this fictional gang from a shoe commercial. Like, I don't fucking know. It's like the deepest of deepest cuts.
Yeah, I felt like it was from something like Surf Nazis Must Die or some sort of like trauma film sort of thing. Like,
it looks like it, but I think it's a fictional skating gang from a shoe commercial or a series of internet shoe commercials. And yeah, it's just or is it maybe a fictional gang in a music video? I don't know. It's weird. He explained it to me once, and I watched a couple of them, and I was like, this is one hell of an aesthetic to spend all your time creating models to. And I salute him. He's doing a lot of cool stuff over there in Crazy Town, where he lives, with that song from the band Crazy Town.
Butterfly.
There we go. Thank you.
My favorite part of that music video is the part where there's the star tattoos on the guy's shoulders, and they take off from his body and fly into the sky.
Is that guy still alive?
I don't know.
I don't care. All right, cool. Let's move on. Yeah, so I've built some Warlocks. Good kit. I really like the Cyber Mastiffs in that kit. They're actually pretty creepy. And then somebody on Games Workshop, one of their heavy metal painters, like painted them like very pale flesh color, and I hate it.
Gross.
Every time I see them, I hate them.
Gross.
I'm not going to do that to you or anybody else. I'm gonna paint them. I want to paint one that looks like a brindle dog. You know, like pit bulls. You know, have that like black and brown color a lot of time. I think it's called brindle.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to give that a shot. That nice. Because I painted my my other Cybermaster from the Slate Mardina box like a Rottweiler. Yeah. So I want to mix it up a little bit. Get a couple other dog breeds in there, and then I've got this. Like, I'm gonna build an impulsor after I finish these Blade Guard very quickly. Fuck you. And when I do that, I got to build this impulsor and like base it and prime it. And I have a bunch of other stuff that I need to base and prime in the old cabinet. So that's a project probably next week that I'm going to get into also. So I've had a pretty good month. Yeah, nice. Okay, I've made I've made progress on one unit, but it's a unit that took me like a month and a half, almost 2 months last time, and I did it in less than a month. So I'm giving you the finger and all the listeners the finger right now.
Cool. Well, that's an improvement. Also, the first squad looks fucking dope. I'm looking forward to seeing the second one too.
Well, they're going to look a lot like the first squad because they're the same fucking models with different heads.
Sweet.
This is when you tell me what you've done for Hobby Progress.
I was waiting for the lead-in. Sorry, don't mind me. Just a little rusty here, shaking some of the old rust off these gears. Famously rusty gears. Yeah, I'm just trying to go with the flow here a little bit. I don't know if you know, Dan. I don't know if you know this. I'm on the West Coast now. I'm a bit more chill now. I'm totally not always just still a ball of anxiety 4,000 miles away from where my previous ball of anxiety resided.
Yeah, it is. All you got to do is have an extremely harrowing move across the country and then all your anxiety goes away.
Exactly. Like, honestly, if I really should have just moved to, like, an island so I could be on island time, and then I'd be really relaxed.
Do you want to talk about your move a little bit? Because there were a couple cock-ups in there that the listeners might enjoy hearing about.
Yeah, I'll try to be quick about it. So yeah, we moved across the country in the time of COVID with 2 cats. Fortunately by plane, which is, airport's just a great place to be, especially right now, with coronavirus cases practically gone in the United States. If you can't hear the bit of sarcasm in there, it's because I'm terrified of the experience I just had. But you know what? We both survived it. Neither of us got COVID or anything, so it's all okay. We fly from Boston to Salt Lake City to Redmond, Oregon, which is where the closest airport is. I'm in Bend, Oregon now, so if you're in Central Oregon and want to hit me up. Let's get a game in. We'll play in my garage.
Fucking crickets. Nobody lives there.
First of all, crickets lived in my old house in Malden. There were just these giant black crickets that would crawl out of the drains all the fucking time. Delicious. And I was told that having crickets inside your house is good luck, in which case the new home buyer is going to have a lot of good luck in 2021. Yeah, flying out here.
Who told you that?
My therapist, I think he was just making that up to make me feel better, which is, I guess, kind of his job. Anywhoomst, so we fly out. We're about to come into Redmond, Oregon, the airport. We're 15 minutes out, and the pilot says, there's only a quarter mile visibility. We need half a mile visibility here, so we're going to reroute to Portland. And I love Portland, Oregon. It's one of my favorite cities in the country, and it's a great place to be, except for when it's 1 o'clock in the morning, you've been traveling for 12 hours with your 2 screaming cats because the meds didn't knock them out sufficiently well, and also now you need to find a pet-safe hotel, cat litter at a convenience store so they can use a litter box and get through there and get out of there safely. And fortunately we were able to, and then the next morning we drove from Portland to Bend, which is a 3-hour drive over the Cascade Mountain Range. Thanks to a life-saving trip to Jack in the Box, we were able to make it in one piece. And yeah, it was not my favorite, and we were able to get here before our something got delivered on the 29th. It has been a box fort here for what it's worth. And yeah, can't recommend moving right now. It was not necessarily my favorite experience, but being here, especially now that the box fort's out and our stuff is here, has been pretty fucking great. I have very much enjoyed that I can just see mountains from my bedroom window, and I have a, at the moment, fairly echoey, very nice new house to live in.
Well, I'm so glad you made it safely and soundly, and your cats are good, and you're good, and you got your stuff, and you're probably still living in Fort Boxland.
I am still
Fortland, whatever.
Only a little bit. We did 2 trips to the transfer station that got rid of a lot of it. So, but
that's American for the dump, y'all. In case you don't know what a transfer station is.
Also, going back, we did a segment on transfers a while ago, and I really wanted to call it "Going to the Transfer Station."
Oh.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed we didn't do that. Anywho, I was working from the kitchen island for about a week and a half before some of our stuff got here, and I have been able to get some hobby stuff in as, back then and now that I have my actual desk back. And I'm happy to go into the actual hobby progress part of the hobby progress section.
Yeah, well, I'm sure somebody's going to email us and tell us that they don't want to hear about our cringe-inducing moves or... what was the other words that
hey, listen,
cringe patio and something else? And
unfortunately, I have a smaller cringe patio than my previous home, but I do have a cringe garage. I didn't have a cringe garage. I only had a cringe driveway at the old place.
What about wasps? How many wasps do you have?
None yet. I do have a lot of room for my meme games for boomers, though.
Oh, tell me more about that, because you've actually been making some hobby progress on that.
Yeah. So I have been working on my Blood Bowl Halfling team, the Margaritaville Manglers. I just texted you or Discorded at you a picture of the finished team because the team is done. They were a ton of fun to do. I did like little Hawaiian shirt patterns on like unique Hawaiian shirt patterns in every single one of them. My favorite is probably the flamingos, followed up by the bass fish. With
you're gonna have to tweet out close-ups of all of these.
I'm going to once I actually get to the
I got
Twitter
bad
thread.
news for you. This team is not done.
That's the problem, because the team itself is done, but all the accoutrements are not finished yet.
This team is in sore need of 2 treemen. And then you got to go because this is a halfling team. What people don't know about halfling teams is that, well, you might be able to figure this out. They're terrible at Blood Bowl. But what they make up for with their terribleness is they generally use a lot of star players because their team value is usually really low. So now, Campbell, you got to get your ass to forgeworld.co.uk or whatever the fuck it is and buy yourself some Morgenthorgs, some Deeproot Strong Branches, maybe a couple of fucking Willow Rose Barks. Like you got some resin in your future, pal, if you're ever going to play in a league with these jerks.
Gotta catch them all, I guess. Well, I am... God, we were on that one call and someone was like, hey, Campbell, I know you got those Blood Bowl halflings. Just got to tell you, had great luck with the halfling team. I'm like, oh, please tell me more. They're like, yeah, I took the absolute minimum number of halflings, took Deeproot Strong Branch, 2 treatment, and I'm just like, oh, cool. So you took a team of big star players featuring halflings to make up the rest of the points. Cool.
That's how halflings work, my friend.
Yep. Oh, well.
I don't even know if you can buy Deeproot anymore. That might be an eBay find for you.
There's a lot of shit that has been kind of going missing. Like you can't even buy House of Blades anymore. They don't sell in the GW web store, and that really bothers me because I have an Escher gang that I would like to have, the rules for. So I have finished the 12 halfling players. I finished the meat pies, team counters, and sandwich, which are all the balls and counters and so on. And I'm like, oh man, I finally finished. I'm ready to put them down as a finished unit. And then I forgot the stupid fucking coins that come with them. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of painting.
Just paint one. Just paint one. You only need one.
I already based both. Well, actually, you do need both for.
Why did you base them? You're supposed
base coats.
Oh, okay. I was like, It's like you're supposed to flip them.
No, I mounted them on scenic bases in their element. Yeah, no, they're cool little doodads, but it is kind of a pain in the ass to paint them since there's not really anywhere smart to hold them. I know some people said after the fact you can leave it on the sprue and paint it that way, and that's why I paint shields and shit. So I should have just put 2 and 2 together on that, but I didn't because I'm done.
I just put it on a little square paper towel and painted one side, and then flipped it over and painted the other side.
Sensible. Well, that's more.
Did you not do it like that?
No, I'm not done with them yet. But yeah, I basically painted both sides blue. I'm working on the white now, and then I'll do the metal all around after the fact. Anyway, that is kind of where I'm at right now. I'm almost finished with them. I just got to finish these coins, and then the actual team is done. I'll actually post pictures out for the rest of the world to see. And yeah, other than that, the last thing I finished before we left Malden was I did finish painting the stupid Chaos Chariot. So that is complete. And yeah, now it's kind of open road after I finish these last little Blood Bowl bits.
All right, man. That's great.
Yeah, been keeping busy.
I love the halflings, dude. They look so good.
They're such characterful models. They were so fun to paint. I got to do a lot of like different experimenting with techniques because I just did like pretty much pure volumetric highlights for everything instead of just doing edge highlights and so on. So I've got very smooth skin in them. I blended fucking everything on them, and they were an absolute joy to paint.
Well, I mean, you've got some characterful models to paint coming up if you do any star players for your halfling team, because those models are a ton of fun. I've painted quite a few of them, and they're generally great. And if maybe I'll just send you a list of the characters that halfling teams that can use, and if you want to buy them or not, that'll be up to you.
That would be helpful. I'm looking to I guess get more Forge World weirdos. I just bought a bunch already, so
hell yeah,
why not get more?
All right, did you play any games?
I did not play any games of Warhammer, no.
All right, neither did I.
Cool.
It's nice when the show moves along, huh?
Yep.
All right, let's go to new stuff. Not that much for a whole month off here.
Yeah, Christmas and the holidays usually aren't too heavy for GW. It's usually a couple of like big.
Oh my God,
bundles and
Christmas happened
stuff. Yeah.
since we last podcasted.
Yeah, it did.
I forgot about that. It's gang.
So are you saying the war on Christmas is over?
It's been an eventful 2 weeks.
Press the button. Press the button. You know the button.
Which button?
What has been an eventual?
It's been.
Thank you.
Go.
It's been
An eventful 2 weeks here in the old Estados Unidos. Ugh. Jeez. It's great. We're gonna be fine. It's gonna be good. My wife got her first round of the COVID vaccine.
Oh, that rules. That legit rules.
Yeah, she's a teacher in Alexandria, Virginia. They're giving them to teachers because that's a really smart thing to do.
That is.
And sometimes my state does it right. Anyways, new stuff. We're getting a new box for Sisters and Drukhari.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a famous matchup. Classic historical matchup. Factions that find themselves facing off in the fluff all the time.
Yeah.
Am I being sarcastic enough? No, it's actually okay. So we got two new models coming in this box. It's called Pain and some Purity and Pain. Mm-hmm. Very horny name.
Yeah, I was really hoping they'd go for the full on Pain and Pleasure, just so we could use the clip from the Judas Priest song. But I'll take Purity and Pain. Sure, why not?
Yeah, so we've got two new models. We have a new Lilith Hesperax sculpt, which looks great. But here's the thing, bud.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could pick it out of a lineup between the new and then the old one.
Well, the new one, or the old one was dynamic. Oh, actually, no, never mind. For a second, I thought the new Lilith Hesperax had structural hair. She doesn't. She's just pirouetting off some rubble.
No, that's Jane Czar.
Yeah, that's true. That is structural hair.
She does have structural hair.
Well, the new Lilith Hesperax has pants. The old one did not.
Good for her. Mm-hmm. I guess. Yeah, I think it's a good model. It's just that it looks a lot like the old model.
That's not a bad thing, though.
No, not really a bad thing. And then we got a new Sisters character called a Palatine. Yep. And oh my God, Games Workshop, get some goddamn new words, all right? You can't have a fucking Palatine and a Paladin and a Palanite and a whatever.
And a Palantir in the Lord of the Rings game.
And a Palantir, thank you. Like this, come on.
I think I've
you
made
make
the point.
up words all the goddamn time so you can fucking copyright them. Come on.
I think I've made the point before that GW's naming convention is kind of like Taco Bell's menu convention, where it's like we have a dozen ingredients and we just kind of remix them and rearrange them in different forms, and that's sold as a new thing. Yeah. Regardless, they're both good models. I think the fact that the box art has Lilith Hesperax versus the fucking Palantir Army Mom. I don't know what her actually whatever.
Army Mom. That's
Army
okay.
Mom.
Yeah.
There we go. But the fact that it's like the two of them dueling, and it's just like, no, one is a sister's essentially lieutenant, and the other one is the best gladiator in the entire 41st millennium. This is photos taken seconds before disaster.
Right. Yeah. That's well. One thing about Lilith is I've actually never seen her on the table, so like I don't really know much about her. I guess she's good in combat, but you know, well, what character isn't? It just seems like, I don't know. I think the model is great. I love that Sisters and Drukhari are getting some love, but like, I want Lilith to have like a like an iconic battle. Like you got Drazar and Jane Czar, the Battle of Czars. Like that's an iconic battle, right?
Yeah.
And like then, now you got fucking Lilith against some fucking mook, right? A nobody.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Love spent a little disrespected here.
Yeah, I get that, but yeah,
I'm apparently I'm a fucking Lilith Hesperax White Knight now, leaping to her defense.
Leaping over a piece of rubble to her defense.
Leaping over a piece of hero rock
to
her defense. Still, it's a good sculpt, good models. Looks like a good kit.
If you want
Sisters or Dark Eldar.
Yeah, but if you want good models and good sculpts, the new Hedon Knights of Slaanesh stuff is so my fucking jam. It is wild.
Yeah, this is like if they specifically design models for one Campbell McLaughlin. Like this is it, bud. You've got your scantily clad muscle men, scantily clad muscle women, and scantily clad muscle goat people.
And scantily clad muscle anteater horses.
Yes, all of it in one collection, ready for you to buy. And not only that, you've got your own version of Jabba's party barge.
Yeah, you do get that, which has some real like hedonism bot made flesh sort of energy to it.
Oh, hedonism bot. Yes, that was good bits on Futurama featuring hedonism bot.
Yep, I'm fucking here for it though. It's like this is a collection I'm going to be buying into once the releases start kind of rolling out for them, because I'm here for muscle zaddies and leather zaddies and all sorts of zaddies top to bottom.
I like the name of rips. the Slaanesh Jabba, Gluteus Orscon. Love that name.
It is a good name. And also, I do like that kind of is exploring the aspect of excess for Slaanesh that you
the Lord of Gluttony. I thought it was very nice of them to make a model version of me.
They already did, and they're on the cover of the Orlok fucking House of Iron book.
I'm all over it. I'm everywhere. Death Guard Codex goes on sale this weekend. I'm sure we'll get some of those sweet previews coming out on the internet soon. Can't wait to take a look at those. Death Guard is always problematic in that it's hard to beat them.
Yeah, well, it's not really hard to beat them. It's just hard to kill them. You do generally need to kill things to beat them, but you can usually beat them on objectives or whatever. The new stuff, there isn't really much to it. There's a new character. There's the Plague Bongs and not really too much else. I'm sure the rules are good, but it's not like I'm playing any games right now, so fucking whatever.
And then
we'll talk about their Crusade rules in the future. Don't worry about it.
In the future of this episode. Not the Death Guard Crusade rules.
No,
we don't have that book yet. But we will talk about Crusade rules in this episode. Mm-hmm. That's great. I'm really helping things along here. Anyways, finally, we've got female Orlocks coming to Forge World soon with pictures of a new sculpt. We've seen two of them before, the woman with the autogun and the woman with the bionic arm. And she's got like a whole bionic half of her body going on with a heavy bolter. And now we've got a lady with a chainsword and stub gun. And my dude, when this shit goes on sale, I will be windmill slamming that buy button because I want these ladies in the Golden Archies ASAP.
They're so fucking cool. And like someone made a good point that the heavy bolter one would make a great stand-in for Sergeant Harker in a guard army.
Oh, and absolutely.
I concur with that. No, I'm a little bummed. Like the Escher Champion models that came out from Forge World, like I think one is great, one is okay, and one doesn't really do it for me. Those three models are it's cool they put them out, but they're pretty pricey. They're like $30 each. Yeah. And I'm kind of worried it's going to be the same case with these. I was hoping that these would be like, I know they mentioned like a long time ago that they would be rolling out some kind of like mixed gender kits in resin from Forge World, like I think for Goliaths and Delac and so on.
I'm a fucking Orlok pay pig, and if they could charge $60 each, and I'd be like, well, I probably can't afford it.
I mean, the moment they put out the Goliath Muscle Wives, I'm going to buy out all of them. It does bum me out. That's like $30 for a mook with an autogun, probably. But whatever. They're cool models. They're going to mix into the gang wonderfully. It's worth buying.
Yeah, I'm getting them. I'm actually like getting a little fatigued on painting Raven Guard stuff right now. Mm-hmm. I want to jam through the rest of my quote unquote tournament army before I jump onto other projects, namely Aeronautica Imperialis. But I really want to do some Necromunda stuff coming up soon.
Cool.
Same. Okay, and that's it for new stuff. Let's move on, Campbell, to WMDK. We make the call.
Whew.
All right, so we've had a lot of great emails lately, gang. Please keep sending us emails. Y'all are killing the game.
It's what happens when you don't record for a month.
Yeah, it is what happens. People have been asking me recently, where's the show? What's going on with the show? Are you guys okay? And I'm like, I just gave Campbell a fucking break.
That's funny. No one asked me that.
Well, I'm sure everybody knows that you're moving and they don't need to be harangued. But me, I'm a very, very obvious haranguing target, and that's okay. It's been like that my whole life. Anyways, let's make a call, shall we?
Yeah. What's the first call 2021?
Oh, well, Matthew Lower, congrats. First call 2021. Matthew Lower via email says, to ensure I can actually play games after starting back in the hobby after a 12-year absence, I managed to convince my wife to play. I do not imagine she will ever be a full, quote, hobbyist, unquote, but in an exercise which began in kindness/pity towards me, she is now really enjoying playing games and has named her Space Marines the Sparkle Warriors. I've also come to realize that my wife is worryingly competitive and ever so slightly frightening.
Oh, no.
My question to you is, have you ever convinced your partners to play 40K with you? Do you know people who have? And how did that go? Advice on how to convince them to get them more interested, in the wider lore/universe. Also welcome. Campbell, what about you? Have you ever shared the hobby with your partner?
40K specifically, no, but the hobby in general, yes. I found that things like Warhammer Underpants.
Thank you.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Or something like, especially say like Blitz Bowl, because not just because I fucking love that game, but just because it is so accessible, is a really great way to get someone kind of started on it. Kind of the same way you'd onboard any player. You would just need to kind of, make sure you know what that person likes. Like, for instance, I got Anne to play Warhammer Underpants with me because she thought the ghosties were cool, which is true. And because we have our friends Peter and Kat are really into it, and the four of us get to play together whenever we do hang out. And that was kind of a strong incentive to get her to play with me. Nice. The idea of like a big like mass battle army game doesn't super interest her, but things that are closer to a board game experience or to a role-playing game experience are much more likely to actually like catch her interest. So it's kind of a case of like, don't be like, hey, partner of mine, I set up this apocalypse battle for the two of us to play. Hope you set aside your entire Sunday. No, just be like, oh, I know you like this kind of game in general. Well, this is the closest to that I get. Like, if your partner is really into aviation or whatever, well, what do you know? Aeronautic Imperialis is there for them. If they really like, I guess, mecha anime, then just be like, hey, Titanicus, it's like Gundam, but bigger and dumber. Like, there's a lot of opportunities like that. Like, you just kind of gotta, this is somebody you should know better than most anyone else in your life. So leverage that and try to find the thing that would click with them best. And also kind of ask them first, because again, like the idea of setting up a game for somebody and kind of like press ganging them into them is probably not really the way to go. But if they like a certain setting or a certain type of setting or a certain archetype, like say, undead or knights or whatever, you can kind of work that in.
Yeah, I've never tried it. Hobby has always been my escape from everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm not really interested in trying it. Yep. But, that's just me.
Yeah, I totally get
Scott
that.
Horace and his wife, Katie, both play.
Yeah, I've played against both of them at the same Nova.
Yeah, they're wonderful people.
Yes, they are.
Just salted a fucking earth. I think he's getting surgery today.
Oh, God, is he okay?
Yeah, he separated his shoulder a while back. He's getting surgery to repair that. So shout out to Scott. Good luck.
Speedy recovery to you, Scott.
Yeah, Matthew, thanks for the question. I don't know. For me, it's just not a priority. I'm pretty independent, so don't ever see myself trying to mix those two worlds. Yeah,
I understand that.
Okay, moving on. So we're going to talk about everybody's favorite year, 2020, a little bit.
What a banner year.
And then we're going to talk a little bit about 2021, which so far has been great. Campbell, you suggested that we hit our 3 high points and 3 low points going into or looking back on 2020, and I was struggling to find high points.
I think that's the thing is, 2020 was a year of doom and gloom. And, just because the 2020 itself is over doesn't mean the problems of 2020 are over. Things like incompetent leadership, racism, coronavirus, and so on aren't just going to go away, but whatever, it's time is immaterial. Either way. It's decent enough for organizing things for the case of this.
Way to finish a thought. Fucking whatever. Forget I said anything.
Forget I said a fucking thing. That's what that should be the inspirational quote at the end of every episode is forget I said anything. And yeah, like I'm not going to say 2021 can't get worse because like my granddad always said, never challenge worse. And I think that's a good sort of thing to follow. But I didn't want to just be strictly just griping about a not great year. So I wanted to try to pepper in some good stuff too. All right. We'll alternate high points, low points of the last year, and then we'll go into what we're hoping for in the next one.
All right, let's start out with a high point.
Okay.
My dad saw, so he keeps a yearly list of birds he sees in Fairfax County, Virginia, which is the county in which he resides.
Yep.
And he saw the most birds ever since he's been doing this in Fairfax County with 206 different species represented in Fairfax County. And so he was very excited about that this year. That's a good thing. That's a high point.
Yeah, nature is healing.
All right, what do you got?
I would say that in light of the pandemic and the ongoing unpleasantness, we actually did find some pretty great ways to come together as a community, not just, the greater Warhammer community at large, but just like people like you and me and our respective game groups. Like I've got 2 weekly Zoom hangs going on where we just hang out, paint, and shoot the shit. And I think we're going to keep rolling with those even after the pandemic, especially since, I have friends on the other side of the country now, and I'm not really going to get to see them any other way anytime too soon. So I figure it's a good way to kind of get some FaceTime and just kind of keep up with it. Also, I've played a ton of tabletop simulator games and kind of was able to adapt and, play a bunch of outdoor games of Age of Sigmar with my crew, which were a ton of fun.
Yeah, man. That's great. Low point time. Events were canceled. Nova and Adepticon, we did not get to go because they were canceled, rightfully so, intelligently so, in 2020, and that sucked.
Yeah, absolutely did. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to, like, I know there's been some talk about, like, maybe trying to get Nova going in 2021 or whatever. I think that's a bit premature at this particular juncture.
I'll be the first guy to line up to buy tickets on, I think, May 1st when Nova is opening, with the hope that enough people will be vaccinated by Labor Day weekend that we can hold a convention for gaming. I am not holding out hope, though. I'm not holding my breath for that because I think it's a long shot, honestly. And if it happens, great. If it doesn't, there's always 2022.
Well, that's kind of the greater thing about my 2020 low point is just the real world. Coronavirus. Not great after all.
No.
I remember one dude on Twitter pretty early on. I think his intentions were probably very naive, but saying like, this lockdown thing ain't so bad. People are getting all the time to really get into their backlogs and get some hobby time in. And I'm just like, read the room, bud. As someone who had coronavirus, I'm pretty sure it's not a good time. I miss events. I miss my friends. I miss hugging people. I miss going outside without feeling like
I don't miss hugging people. Oh,
I know
my God.
You don't. I miss hugging you.
Oh my God. I hope the no expectation of physical contact continues in perpetuity. I know I'm weird on this. I know this is a contrary take, but I don't like shaking hands. I don't like hugs. I don't like how whenever you enter or exit a place in life, you have to touch everybody in it. I hate that. I think I don't like it at all. It's not a germ thing either. I just don't like, people.
I won't say I'm full on bring it here, bug. I'm a hugger, not a handshaker. I'm not like quite that kind of level of things, but just,
God, I hate it. Actually, sometimes a hug is even better than a handshake because you're touching somebody's shoulders on their shirt. It's not gross.
Especially
when people want to give me their clammy ass hands to touch.
Yeah, I don't want to touch that little limp fish that you call a hand and a wrist. I want to give you that Christian side hug.
Oh man, I just hope that we don't have to, that we don't go back to touching. That would be really good for me.
Okay.
I love hanging out with people, y'all. I love doing shit. I love being around people and getting in the mix and all that shit. But just don't fucking touch me.
I feel like you probably need to wear one of those vests that service animals have that say I am a service animal, do not pet me.
Yeah. Except I provide no services.
All right, give me a high point.
A high point. I finished the second Blood Bowl team.
Hell yeah.
I did it way the fuck back in March, before the pandemic even happened. I might have even done it in February. I don't fucking know. I was looking back through like the stuff that I finished this year, and it's generally on level of the stuff that I finished in a year. So the pandemic did not make me very much more productive, but I did get a second Blood Bowl team done, and I'm just happy about that because now I can like demo the game to people with 2 teams and play myself like I did early on in the pandemic.
You did play yourself.
So yeah, I'm very glad I got a second team done.
Nice. I painted more models than I acquired this year. Not by many, but I did.
Very good.
I painted 217 models. And
that's a lot of fucking models.
Yeah, it is.
I counted. I painted like 70.
Yeah, it's not my biggest year of all time. I think I did like 260 something or 270 something one year, but I think it was because I was painting a lot of Grots and Valhallans. But yeah, 217 models, and I think I acquired 193 via purchasing gifts and so on. So ahead of the curve, only just.
Can you keep it up for 2 years in a row?
I mean, I've been keeping up. I think I've been keeping track of this for probably 4 years where I've been keeping track of the 2 ratios, and I've been positive every one of them. So I'm hoping to get for 5.
All right. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Should we talk another low point?
Of course.
My physical health is failing me.
Oh, no.
I have not gone to the gym since March because I do not want to get coronavirus. I remember the last day I went to the gym, I was in a spin class, early morning spin class. And after the class was done, I heard the guy behind me, some fucking boomer asshole behind me, talk to his other boomer asshole friend and say something about being stuck on a cruise ship for 2 weeks in quarantine.
Oh, no.
And I was just like, oh, great. So I guess I can't come to the gym anymore.
Christ alive.
Yeah, so I haven't gone to the gym at all since March, since that was like St. Patrick's Day time, and my body sucks and I hate it.
All right, first of all, your body is beautiful and you should love it. Second of all, you can get like a spin, they ain't cheap, but you can get like a Bowflex spin bike or whatever for like $600, $800 or something like that. And
not looking for solutions, bud.
Okay, all right.
Give me a low point.
I can't keep track of 40K anymore.
We just got an email this last week from Pete Dolan, our good friend, who was talking about the rules bloat in 40K, and he was like, all right, Dan, shut up, don't say all rules is good rules, and it's like, yeah, okay. I know that we've taken the stance, or at least I've taken the stance on the show before, that like things being supported and things having rules is generally a good thing. And yes, I think support is good. But does 40K have too many rules? Yes, it does. Something needs to, especially for a lot of the factions that haven't gotten 9th Ed codices, sorry. In that there's like a bunch of books that are like half invalidated, the Psychic Awakening.
Yep.
Like that you have to follow if you're going to like play competitively. But yes, okay, there are rules everywhere for 40K, but you don't have to use all of them.
You don't have to, but the thing is, if you're just going for like a regular matched play game right now, like you're going to need anywhere between 3 and 6 books, depending what you're bringing. And that is it's a lot. It's
not counting core rulebook.
Not counting
counting core rulebook.
That's like codex, rules, mission pack, points pack, and then any campaign or codex supplements. Like again, they're putting out a new one for Death Guard coming out of the fact.
The mission packs all have the rules in them.
Okay. Yeah.
So you need mission pack, codex. Mm-hmm. And if you have a supplement, because usually for me it's the GT mission pack, the Space Marine book, and the Raven Guard supplement. Yeah. And that's 3 books. Is that too much?
That alone isn't 3 books. You do need the Mutorm points pack, and then you need to keep track of all the FAQs. Because the thing is, it's like working kind of like it's a frustrating thing where it's like they're editing rules a lot. Like they're doing like pretty regular FAQs, points updates, and so on, and all these adjustments. And it's good on the one hand because, I remember going years without these things getting touched on. Like remember 5th edition Grey Knights were overpowered for like a year and a half, 2 years or something like that. And I like that they're changing these things because, bad stuff doesn't necessarily stay bad. Overpowered stuff doesn't necessarily stay overpowered, but it does feel kind of like Games Workshop caught us like smoking a rules cigarette and is making us smoke the whole pack. I legit don't know what things like Super Doctrine are. And I don't mind the added complexity when you're going for things that are heavier on fluff, like say Crusade, Necromunda, or whatever. But for regular ass games, it's getting kind of overwhelming. And I know this is like, again, Peter emailed us about this. I've talked to Dylan about this, and he doesn't really have any interest in playing 40k at the moment just because of how much shit is out there and how much there is to keep track of. And I don't really know what the happy medium here is. Like, I always feel like when it was the Space Marine Codex, like just using that as kind of the main point here. I love having a Space Marine Codex. I've got the little rule in there for what my Ultramarines or Black Templars would ever do, and maybe a special character or two, and that's it. I feel like once you start adding in the Codex supplements, whether it is just like supplement Ultramarines or the new narrative supplement type things out there that aren't strictly narrative, that have like extra rules and stuff and extra attachments for Death Guard and Knights and so on, like it's cool they're getting that contiguous support, but also just like there's so much to keep track of. And as you said, the half invalidated stuff, I don't know what's valid or not anymore. It's exhausting. Yeah,
this is the kind of thing where like, I mean, I agree with you. I think there's too many rules. I agree with Peter. I think that if you're coming from a point of where you've stopped playing the game, or you haven't been keeping up with the rules, like getting back into the getting all the rules and wrapping your head around all the rules can be very daunting. And yeah, I think that there's a lot going on, probably too much going on. It's the kind of thing though you have to keep on top of, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like whenever they do facts, I'm downloading the ones that pertain to me. Like I'm not downloading the fucking Tau fact. I don't care.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'll let Tau players deal with that. And then, I'm digesting just that. It's easy because I play Marines mostly. So, Marines, they have a book that came out after the Munitorum Field Manual. So all their points are in the book. And then there's a couple facts that have adjusted them one way or the other. And it's not that much to keep track of. Mm-hmm. But I get it. Like if you're playing Guard, you're like, well, where the fuck are my points? It's like, okay, they're in the Munitorum Field Manual. But there's also these facts that you need to talk about, or you need to look at and make sure. Also, the rules, if you're playing Guard, again, the rules in your codex for a lot of units have changed in some ways almost completely.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the 8th edition Guard Codex and you're like, oh man, these commissars sure are good. No, they're not. That's changed. Yep. And you're not going to know that unless you have the FAQ ready for that. And that's something that we've talked about on the show before, is that the whole frequently asked questions system, the errata system, is bad.
Yeah.
It's bad because you're working with printed materials that people are going to buy and then they can't use. Whereas this sort of stuff, if they were releasing updated stuff digitally, like it would be different, but they're not necessarily doing that.
I mean, they sort of are. They're kind of getting there with the 40k app, which is also in some ways one of my low points that I'll get to. But yeah, it's that also isn't everybody, and not everyone is going to know these things necessarily. And if you're playing multiple armies, not even in the same list, just in my case, if I wanted to be playing, like one of the reasons I barely touched my Orcs in 8th edition was because I couldn't really keep track of everything. On top of it's like I had Knights, I had Guard, I had Marines, and then I got Orcs and I had Chaos Marines. I feel like if you have multiple armies, it's kind of head spinning.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And it's definitely a difficult thing to do to keep your head around all that stuff. I certainly, I know that the limited brain space that I have left, like there's shit in this game that I'm just like, yeah, I'm not paying attention to that. Like Adeptus Custodes, I'm just not paying attention to them. I don't know what any of their units do. I don't know what any of their units are called because my brain just slides right off of it.
Yep.
So yeah, I get the argument that there's too many rules in 40k. I'm not saying that there's not, and then it's going to be difficult to keep track of everything. So yeah, I fully understand that.
Mm. All right, let's go out of this valley and up, head for a peak here. Give me a high point.
It's tough, man. It's tough because there's not a lot of high points left. I guess I'm glad that we're still doing the show.
Yeah, that's a high point.
Thankfully, the pandemic hasn't stopped us from doing this show. That's a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's a high point depending who you ask. I got one last high point, which is that honestly, GW was able to roll with the punches pretty well. Like they pivoted to online preview streams, which after the first one or two, which were kind of rough, they were able to actually get pretty good. They put out a pretty broad range of good stuff that I want to get. I can't get some of it anymore. Like again, House of Blades, but still there's a lot of good stuff coming out. It's cool that Ninth Ed came out. I mean, I wouldn't know because I haven't really gotten to play it. But it had that Indomitus set, which had some killer fucking models. New edition of Blood Bowl with, again, more killer fucking models. And they were even able to kind of roll with the punches on the fucking nightmare political climate we're in with the whole "you will not be missed" statement, which, while not quite as bold as you or I might have gone for, is still, a nice show of some sort of solidarity with the greater community. No, I think I think they could have handled this year far worse than they did. Absolutely.
I think it's definitely been another good year for them financially.
Oh, yes,
they've made a lot of money. So, that means the games that we love and the models that we love to collect will still be going for at least another year, which I appreciate. I enjoy. Yep. And just this fucking year, man, 2020. What a waste.
This
for everybody.
This year would have been a lot harder without the hobby. I'll be honest.
Oh yeah, if I didn't have something to work on like every night. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes even in the day, I'd have gone fucking crazy.
Yeah, having just that like very personal, very like you're doing your own thing, going on your own journey sort of thing with the hobby it's always been like my sort of like mental health bolster and sort of my like general, like it levels me out. It evens me out. Like I remember back in college, I went a week without painting, and at the end of it, my hands were literally shaking because I realized I hadn't relaxed in a week.
Yep. And I think we should cut out the last low point.
You know what? That's fine by me.
I think we should end on a high note.
Yeah, I think that's good. Let's see if we can end on an even higher note by looking forward to 2021.
Let's talk a little bit about 2021. First things first. Mm-hmm. I'm excited that I'm getting a local Blood Bowl league started up here. Just 4 players, me and a few friends, and we're gonna play some Blood Bowl.
Yeah,
starting next week, I think.
Oh, cool!
I'm very excited.
Then I really gotta design that logo for you right now. I'll get to that before.
Listeners, I asked him to help me out with some graphic design stuff. And, whenever you got time, man, not a big deal.
Well, graphic design is my passion, and I'll be sure to get to that before I get to the 8-bit piece of shit t-shirt. This year, I'm looking forward to playing some new games. I'm looking forward to getting into some stuff I might not have gotten into before. Like, I want to learn how to play Blood Bowl. When the Blood Bowl 3 video game comes out, I'm going to be... I've talked to some of my old crew back in Boston about getting some games of that in, just so I can kind of learn what it's like. I want to learn it. I want to throw down digitally or in person, whatever. I've got a fucking homebrew Fallout rule set I've been tinkering with in my free time since the Modifius rules are so onerous, and I'm excited to try that out too.
Yeah. I'm excited to try out some homebrew rules too, actually, Campbell. I've been, this last week, I wrote some stuff for Goonhammer for Necromonday about a new trading post system that we made.
Nice.
And it's actually a web-based trading post where you can go, and it's all in the most recent Necromonday article, but I've started work on something called the Lost Zone, which is a module for Necromunda. And it's taking... Okay, so James Hewitt, who used to be one of the designers for Necromunda, he tweeted recently about how he was kind of unhappy with how the design choices in Necromunda. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dude, are you talking to me? Because these are the same things that I have problems with the game, where old Necromunda was these gangs of criminals on the fringe of society trying to survive in a very inhospitable place. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't like plasma guns everywhere. There wasn't these like what he called these like well-armed militias and paramilitary groups. And like I was like, yeah, man, I feel that. So I started thinking, all right, well, what is out there to play Necromunda in a way that's more like this? And I didn't see anything. So I said, it's time to be the change I want to see in the world. and I got to thinking and writing. And so I put out last Monday, the 11th of January, I put out the Lost Zone trading post in Black Market, which you can go to Goonhammer and you can go use this right now. It's a little web page. You input how many items you want the vendors to have, and then the webpage will draw from this insanely large spreadsheet that I made with all the items from the trading post and Black Market weighted based on their rarity. And so you can go and generate a trading post and Black Market for yourself in your campaign if you want to slow things down a little bit and stop the insane gang raiding bloat that can happen in modern Necromunda campaigns. So I thought that was a lot of fun to work on, and I'm going to be back with some more next week, some more Lost Zone module content, and I'm excited to give that a shot sometime in the new year.
Nice. You should talk to Dylan about this too, because that seems like something he was very feeling. I know they were back in the campaign, the Necrofunda Slampaign that we were playing back in the day. There was a bit of frustration over the prevalence of bolters and plasma guns, and just again how reliable people were knocking each other out. Yeah, right.
It's a little, and maybe it's just because I played the old Necromunda where things are there are a lot fewer sure things in the game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Whereas in this version of Necromunda, it's a lot of like, all right, my 2 up to hit plasma gunner is gonna kill your guy, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Oh, you have something? Well, no, I got a tactics card too that just says fuck you.
Except for when Big Chungus with his heavy bolter that hits on a 2 still fucking misses your dude and then gets plugged with his power hammer.
Yeah, that was top moment from Cinco de Necro.
I didn't get mad at all. Not
God
a
help me,
tiny
it was almost
bit
2
angry.
years ago.
Christ alive. We were so young.
All right, what else are you looking forward to?
Now that I'm in Oregon, my childhood best friend lives out here, and we're going to be potting with him, his wife, and their kid. And I'm going to press gang the adults there anyway into playing games with me. So I don't think it'll be safe to game in stores or whatever until late next year, but that's on the horizon too. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm holding out a little bit of hope for Nova, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting a vaccine sometime this year and feeling a little safer going and spending time with other people.
Yeah, and until then, there's plenty of wide open space here and places for me to hike that I feel very safe going to.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. Maybe a tournament or two late in the year.
Maybe late in the year. I could see myself going to game at a game store late in the year. There's actually there's like a board game cafe / bar, because everywhere's a bar in this town. It kind of rules. The gas stations have growler fills. It's fantastic. But I'm hoping to that's kind of where I'm going to go to like meet folks and just kind of be like, hey, I'm happy to run like Blood Bowl or Blitz Bowl or Warhammer Underpants or whatever in this store. And then like, hey, if you're cool, all right, we can play 40k in my garage.
Yeah. I'm also looking for another continued year of the 40k Badcast. We've had fun in 2020 despite the many challenges. So looking forward to doing it again.
I feel like I didn't even put that on my things to look forward to because I kind of assumed it was a given, but I suppose that's kind of conceited of me, isn't it? I'm looking forward to just a New Year hobby project. So like I mentioned before, those Heat Knights of Slaanesh are so fucking choice, and I'm going to be picking them up and making a project out of them. And I'm going to paint that big stupid Marauder Destroyer. That is my go closing to a New Year's resolution I've got, is I'm going to paint that stupid Marauder Destroyer, even though there's nowhere in my house to fucking put it.
Nice. Build its own shelf.
I'm going to have to.
All right, we should move on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Crusade. Let's talk about Space Wolves.
Woo!
It's Crusade focus Space Wolves. First thing, right off the bat, this army's so fucking dumb. I'm sorry, Space Wolf players. Like this is okay. It's like peak 40k because like 40k trying to keep it stupid, keeping 40k stupid. That's how we do it. But man, Space Wolf stuff is just absolutely the dumbest content in 40k. And it's great. I'm here for it. I think I would love more ridiculousness everywhere, all throughout 40k. Space Wolves rules, these Crusade rules, almost remind me of Orc stuff with how wonky some of them are. So Yeah, I'm into it. I think this is a great Crusade section. I do not like Space Wolves. I've never liked Space Wolves. Viking shit for me, I do not care for it. I do not like it. People who are really into Viking stuff give me the heebie-jeebies generally. But this is fun. I actually really enjoyed this Crusade, this book's Crusade part.
So I will say right this moment, I am wearing a t-shirt with a giant skull with a Viking longship sailing out of the mouth of said skull and Jormungandr, the world serpent, wrapping around said skull. I think Viking shit is dope, although the more Viking shit I see on people in the real world, I generally kind of get more and more suspicious of their particular motives and worldview. That aside,
people being way into Vikings is mad sus, dude.
Yeah, at this particular junction, yes. However, God of War 2018, that game fucking rules and is super into Viking shit. I heartily recommend it, as I have before on the show. But I used to play Space Wolves back in high school, so like seeing a lot of these rules kind of like repeated here.
Tisking at you.
Oh, they were the only Space Marines with beards and long hair, and I had a beard and long hair, so I felt very seen by them. I really dig Space. I really dug Space
because
Wolves.
you had the fucking Viking experience growing up, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
You came to America on a long ship, huh?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, no, I did. I landed at port in Northwest Connecticut.
Where it's known that there's a lot of water, a lot of sea in Northwest Connecticut.
Yep. Honestly, just rednecks and cows, really. But I was really into those Space Wolves at the time, and I see some of this stuff gets kind of repeated or expounded upon here, which in some ways is kind of cool. In other ways, I wasn't as into it. The new rules don't really... I like some of the new Crusade stuff. We'll get to some of it. There's some rules here that I think are kind of lame, and some I think are fucking awesome. So let's start with the agendas, and start with an agenda that I think is fucking awesome.
It's called An Audacious Boast.
Yeah,
and
which so characterful.
This is the fucking himbo energy of this book is ridiculous because there are, let's count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different boasts a character. You can select one character from your army and they can make up to 10 boasts. And if they achieve these boasts, they get 1 experience point. So if your character goes on a fucking tear and kills a whole bunch of shit and does a whole bunch of crazy shit, then they can get 10 experience after 1 battle, which is absolutely wild. But generally, you're not going to pick all 10. You'll probably pick 3 or 4 achievable ones. And let's talk a little bit about what these boasts are, Campbell.
Yeah. Because also, like, one thing is, it does fit with these Space Wolves being, like, proud, boastful dipshits, really. And it does have that risk-reward system in there, because if you don't accomplish them, you don't get those experience. You don't get any experience points, actually. Like, you need to accomplish every boast you make. So you really have to be mindful.
That's right.
Yeah, because, if that wasn't the case, you would just make every single boast. And it's like, all right, whatever, cool. No, if you'd make those 3 to 4 achievable boasts and try to accomplish them. And if you don't accomplish all of them, you don't get any experience points.
Some of these are pretty easy.
Some of them are pretty easy, but some of them, the ones that actually make me happiest, are the ones that are actually not really good ideas tactically.
No, my favorite, I got one. My favorite is called Never Back Down from a Fight. And it's your character will perform a heroic intervention in every one of your opponent's charge phases, assuming it is eligible to do so. That's wild. You can't control that.
No. Well, like first to the fray, your character will always be the first unit of your army to declare a charge in every one of your turns, assuming it is eligible, meaning that your character is just going to eat Overwatch fire every fucking turn.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I love it. I love it. Because, like, all right, I don't want to go through all of them like their rules, but they're first to the fray, never back down from a fight, tear through their armor, slay the beast, bring back their heads, cut down the tyrant, leave behind a trail of corpses, break through their lines, claim the prize, and the last one is without a scratch, which is complete the battle without taking any wounds. And I love this. It kind of sucks that they led with this rule, because this is probably my favorite one in the Codex.
It is my second favorite one. I'll let you know when my favorite one comes through. But yeah, that's a great agenda. It might not be the best tactically, because some of this stuff seems really hard to do, but I love it. I'm a huge fan of it. All right, next one we got Show Them How We Fight. This is another really cool one. It's kind of wonky because I don't know how many times you're going to have a Wolf Guard unit within 6 inches of a Blood Claws unit, and the Wolf Guard unit just killed something. But when they do, and they are within 6 inches of a Blood Claw unit, that Blood Claw unit can get 1 experience point because they're learning from the Wolf Guard how to do it.
Which is, it's really cool they brought in, like, putting some rules for Bring Your Blood Claw to Work Day here, because, like, this is the sort of, like, mentorship thing that is always talked about in, again, we've talked before about how Crusade is so good at getting the things that are talked about in the lore onto the tabletop, and this is one of those. I like this a lot.
Yeah, this is a good one. It's probably my favorite agenda thematically.
It's good.
All right, next we have a worthy trophy, which is... You pick the 3 models with the most wounds in the opponent's army, and anybody that kills them gets 3 experience points.
Kills them in melee.
Oh, is it melee? Oh, God.
Yeah, good luck killing those knights, fucko.
Yeah, good. Well, I mean, you work with the old slam captain bullshit. You might be able to take a knight out in combat, but
yeah, Space Wolves are choppy. They'll do it. This one's it's good in Space Wolfy, but not especially exciting. But again, it's the kind of thing that's like, oh yeah, this Wolf Lord. This is Hrothgar Titan Cleaver or whatever. It's like, all right, yeah, okay, that makes sense. It's not the worst thing. Yeah.
Next, we got Circling Wolves. This is the least interesting one for me. At the end of the battle, select 3 or 4 units from your Space Wolves army. Each selected unit must be within wholly 9 inches of a corner of the battlefield. Each selected unit gains 2 experience points.
This one's lame as hell, in my opinion.
Extremely lame. And then finally, you have a Glorious Death. This one rules. So if you've used a requisition to get a Lone Wolf, which we will cover in a moment, if this Lone Wolf character dies by an attack from a character, a vehicle, or a monster, you remove the Lone Wolf from your order of battle. You perma-kill your Lone Wolf. And if you do, everybody in your army gets 2 experience points.
I love that. And like, on the one hand, like, okay, that glorious death is like, well, my Lone Wolf was killed by a Chaos Lord. That's a glorious death. But on the other hand, it's like, my Lone Wolf charged a Repulsor Executioner and got overwatched and vaporized by its main gun. There's nothing glorious about that. But you know, I feel like in that case, it's like, it's not a glorious death, but the whole army learns from, like, it's like a cautionary tale, you know?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Lone Wolf then. It's a requisition. Instead of taking a battle scar when an infantry unit would normally take one, you can spend 1 requisition point to make them a Lone Wolf. And what that does is it replaces them with a lieutenant unit, either a Terminator, Wolfguard battle leader, a Primaris lieutenant, or a regular lieutenant. It replaces the unit. That unit becomes the Lone Wolf, and they get a special rule called Honor and Death, which is just reroll hits and melee. And then they're eligible for the Glorious Death agenda. And it takes a requisition point to do this. This is hilarious. This is like your unit dies. Your unit of, Long Fangs dies in battle. And then the last one standing is like, all right, fuck this. I'm going to town. Now they're a lieutenant. And you're doing it. You're going for it. Lone Wolf style, baby.
It's cool. I liked the in the 5th edition Space Wolf Codex, there was the Lone Wolf unit introduced, and I always thought it was a cool idea, but you never really got the notion of how that guy got there. Like, okay, yeah, you got the lore for it, but like you didn't really get the idea that this is like the last surviving dude of a unit looking for a glorious death. It's like, no, this guy's just a cruise missile that I spent 65 points on or whatever. I like this. I like this a lot. It's not the best, like, effectiveness wise, but it's extremely cool, and that's what matters.
Flavorful, baby. Flavor Town. All right, next we got Hero of Renown. This one seems like a good, just a good one, like a good one to have. What it does is you can use it after a battle where your character has successfully completed the end user license agreement of their warlord trait. the TC, the terms and conditions of their warlord trait. Because Space Wolf warlord traits have a condition A, which is always on, and then condition B, which is on after they do something.
This is separate from the warlord trait. These are the sagas.
That's what the warlord traits are.
The award trait has a saga and a dish. Oh, do they?
Yeah. So
I'm sorry. I guess what page I didn't read.
It's okay. So condition A is on right now, and now you're spending a requisition point to have condition B always be on.
Yeah.
So they don't have to go through the rigmarole to get their full warlord trait. They just have it from the start of the battle. What I do not like about this, Campbell, is that you can spend this 0 RP on a named character.
Yeah.
Which I don't like. I don't like named characters in Crusade. Just gonna put that out there.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. I feel like they already have their stories being told. This is for telling your own stories. I like this because I feel like actually accomplishing the deed to unlock the saga, because these are like Saga of the Bear, Saga of the Beast Slayer, whatever. I always feel like accomplishing that might not necessarily happen every game because some of the specific things you need to do are a little specific, but like again, the 5th edition codex had the Saga of the Bear, Saga whatever, and they had like accomplish this mighty deed, but there's no reason to do it. It was like to get the Saga of the Beast Slayer, reap a mighty tally, kill 15 models, but it's like you already had the rule. This is just kind of like, I guess, in a guideline for you to follow, I guess, if you want to do this. There's no reason you had to. So I like that this kind of has that sort of that reward for the actual action.
This is also like go hard, take the most difficult saga to complete, because if you do, you can just slam it and be like, boom, got it. Now it's every game.
Yep.
All right. Next we got Pack Bonds. This one's real fucking good.
Yeah, it is. It's cool too.
Really good. It's whenever an infantry, biker, or cavalry, excluding character units, are chosen for marked for greatness, which is they get an extra 3 XP at the end of the battle, you can spend a requisition point and increase the crusade point by that unit to get 2 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different bonuses to that unit. You can pick 2, and they are like 5 of invulnerable save, +1 strength, +1 attack. Treat rapid fire and pistol like assault weapons. Automatically pass morale test. That's a really good one. Additional inch for pilot and consolidations. +1 to advance rolls, and can charge and fall back. This is really good, and you can pick 2. So they're obviously gonna be some combinations that are perfect for some. For some units, you're like, okay, I'm going to use this on my Thunderwolf cavalry. Now they have +1 strength and +1 attacks. And it's like, oh shit.
Yep.
That's really fucking good.
Yeah. They are all made equal. Like, select one model in the unit and it gets +1 strength. That's okay, I guess. But every guy in the unit has a 5 up invuln. That's always useful.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, I like these a bunch. I think this is a cool way to kind of customize the unit to kind of do a specific thing. They embellish their stories of greatness so much they do get those actual powerful rules. And I think you can also use those to kind of like, tell a story. Like the one that gives them the 5 up invulnerable save, maybe they got, hit by, whatever, like just a big fucking gun, and you rolled a just bevy of cover saves that you didn't think you'd be able to make. Like, all right, you know what? Those guys are lucky. I'll give them Tail of the Ravens.
Cover saves? What's a cover save?
Man, it has been a while since I played this game, hasn't it?
What are you talking about? I don't know what this cover save thing is.
It's a thing you put on the outside of your textbooks so they don't get scuffed in your backpack.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Space Wolves get bullied all the time in high school.
What an idea.
Yeah.
What a novel idea. Cover save, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe the last time a cover save was in the game.
7th. Everyone's favorite edition.
That was 2017, if I remember correctly. Yeah, well, that was 4 years ago.
Oh my god.
What's going on? You need to play some 40k, bud.
I really fucking do. Jesus Christ. All right, last.
You're fucking talking about cover saves on our 40k podcast in year of our Lord 2021.
I'm sorry, I must have failed my target priority check when looking through my notes. Oh no, that's not a thing either. All right, let's go for the last but definitely least of these. It's again one that I think is super situational, but at least has a bit of an always on thing, and that is the Wolf and the Lion.
When you said last and definitely least, you're 100% wrong. This is the best rule in the whole book. You can purchase this for any infantry or biker that is not a character. You select one infantry or biker model that is not a character. You give them +1 attacks. All right, so one model in a unit gets +1 attack. Big deal. But then, whenever this model makes a melee attack against a, wait for it, Dark Angels unit,
Wolf and the Lion,
add 1 to that attack's hit and wound roll. Fuck yes. I am all here for Space Wolves and Dark Angels hating each other. I do not even know why they do.
It's because one time Lionel Johnson sucker punched Lehman Russ. That's literally it.
Absolutely the best rule in the whole book. Dark Angels and Space Wolves killing each other is my favorite thing in 40k.
I'm glad it's there. I'm glad their entire thing doesn't hinge on it. I'm glad it hasn't always, like, you always get +1 attack. Just in general is always nice to have. It's not great, but you know what? It's fun. It's cool.
Yeah, but if
it's
you're
Crusade.
a Space Wolf player and you're playing Crusade and you got a Dark Angel player in your group or whatever,
You know you gotta take this. It's like your first one. Yeah.
Shit.
And also,
100%.
I love that's not like. Here's the thing. Also, you know how one side of this fucking rivalry is when it's like the Wolf and the Lion. The Dark Angels got nothing for this. Like they're like,
Dark
who are
Angels,
you again?
Dark Angels are like Thanos in Endgame. Like, I don't even know who you are. What chapter are you from? You need
The
to
Puppy
shave.
Pound.
All right. Fucking Paw Patrol ass motherfucker. All right. Battle traits. Not going to read all of them. We're going to mention a couple we like. I'm really into... They have beast units, Space Wolves do. They have wolves that run around.
Yeah, the Fenrizine Wolves.
They can level up. And one of them is called Perceptive Companions, which I like. Auspex Scan Stratagem costs 0 CPs to use if an enemy unit is set up as reinforcements within 12 inches of this unit this turn, which is actually very fucking powerful. Because Auspex Scan kicks ass.
It does kick ass.
Using it for free is great. So having a bunch of wolves running around the field because they're nice and perceptive because they got good hearing.
I think that's one of the most useful as well as really characterful because they're like hunting dogs. It makes sense.
Yes.
One of my favorite is runic tattoos, where your character's tattoos are so cool that they make psychic powers go away. On a 4-up, they can save against psychic wounds.
On a 4-up, they get
wounds.
the Black Templar's Stratagem.
Yep. What do you know? I like the rule that makes them more like my favorite chapters.
There you go. And right above that is the Alpha of the Lone Hunt. They get an aura, a +1 attack aura for beasts nearby. And they get, if they're within 3 inches of any beast models, they cannot be targeted with ranged attacks.
Yeah.
So that's real fucking good.
Yeah, it's
here's something. If it's the Lone Hunt, why are they working with beasts? Beasts? Beasts.
with Beasts by Dre.
With Beasts by Dre.
Yeah,
Who, Dr. Dre, he had like an aneurysm a couple weeks ago. So, shout out. Thoughts and prayers.
The thing is, the lore behind this is that they killed the pack alpha of like a wolf pack and became the new alpha, which is based on some bullshit science that has since been discredited. But you know what? I like the idea of being like less like, I didn't save these wolves; they saved me.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I like it.
Last one I got for a second one, I like just the general notion that the wolf priests, who are kind of somewhere between chaplain and apothecary in a typical like for Space Wolves, their 2 rules are one's taken from the chaplain and apothecary trees. I like that they can kind of have rules that further enhance their dual role in the chapter. I think it's cool.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Deeds of Making. So these are battle honors that can only go to Space Wolf characters, and you can only have one.
Yeah, this is one of those, like, they're like kind of like the epithet sort of things that like Necrons get. Like this is, or the company captain rules. Like these are the fun, really characterful, really cool ones that you can kind of just add on to their name, and I like that a lot.
So again, there's a lot of these. So we're going to mention a couple that we like. The first one that I like is called Hearthbreaker. Because it's really stupid and really bad. It's so bad. This is the fucking peak of GW rules writing, just throwing something in there that nobody's ever going to take or ever going to use because it makes no sense. I'm going to read this out. You ready? This model has the following ability: Hearthbreaker Aura. While the friendly Space Wolves core unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack against a building unit, you can re-roll the wound roll.
So yeah, if your Crusade meta is really heavy on Hammerfall drop turrets, then this one's the one to take, y'all. I'm going to go with one I like because it's good in game and also is fun to say. Weird meat. You automatically pass out of action tests. It's weird meat spelled WYRD, which is already cool. Meat, MEET. I do wish it was weird MEAT, in which case I guess it would mean your dude just smells kind of funny or ate some old salami and can barf on dudes or whatever. But yeah, no, weird meat. I would be big on like Hrothgar weird meat being not just my lunch lad, but also my warlord.
All right. I got one. Stormstride. This was great.
Yeah.
This is great because it's this character can now ride the lightning. This model gains the teleport strike ability. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They can just ride a lightning bolt into battle. What the fuck sense does that make? Who cares? Now my bike chaplain can ride lightning. Deal with that, idiots.
Thunderbike. These all have good names. But this is good name, even better effect. So it's Grimbane. Each time this dude dies, mark down the Crusade army that killed him. Next time he destroys a unit from that Crusade army, he gets 5 experience points. And I just love the idea of like just being so pissed at the Necron army or whatever that killed you that you get oodles of experience points next time you kill a dude from it. Like I've mentioned before, the like old Necromunda had the thing where one of your injury rolls would be like essentially preferred enemy, that motherfucker. Yeah. And this is kind of like that, and I love it. I'm all for turning your rivalries into rules. I love it.
Yeah, 100%. That's so good. Now these are fun. This is, again, Space Wolves was stupid, but this is a very fun book for Crusade.
Yeah.
And Space Wolves, I feel like almost more than anybody except Black Templars like fit the Crusade aesthetic.
Yeah.
Okay, Crusade Relics.
Only 2.
There's 2 of them. The Weird Maker's Helm is whatever, but let's talk instead about the Spear of Russ, which is it's a melee weapon and a shooting weapon that you can use once per battle. So
for
one turn you get to use this thing. And it's pretty fucking wild because the the profile on the shooting, 18-inch range, assault 1, strength ×2, so generally 8, AP -4, damage 6.
It's insane. It's insane.
One shot a Primaris captain, why don't you? And then the Spear of Russ melee is a just jacked up Thunderhammer, but still very, very good. Oh, and then, of course, if a Space Wolves unit within 6 inches of the bearer, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So I guess it does debuff everybody around you.
I don't really know why it debuffs the guys around you. It's been a long time.
Because they have to go get it after the person throws it. That's what the flavor text says. I read this and I was like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, this weapon possesses the ability to return to the wielder's hand when thrown. This ability was frequently put to the test by Lehman Russ himself, who would hurl the weapon away in moments of anger, leaving it to be retrieved by his bemused wolf guard. So it doesn't return to its wielder hands when thrown. Somebody returns it to its wielder. I guess that's the point, is when you're using the Spear of Russ, everybody around you is like, fuck, go get that thing.
I feel like you should be...
Jeff, go get that thing.
First of all, it's Jeff. It's got to be like, have a few umlauts and like Swedish pronunciation notes in it. Second of all, I feel like if you're near a unit of Fenrisian wolves, they should be able to fetch it and you should be able to use it again.
I agree. Maybe some Crusade game masters out there will do the right thing and make that part of the rules. Okay, Campbell, enough of this bullshit. Let's get to the name generator.
This is the important part. Do you have a D6 ready?
I have 2 D6 ready.
Wonderful.
Because it will take 2 D66 rolls. Are you ready for your Space Wolf name?
Yes, I am.
All right, here we go. It's a 14. You're Sven.
All right.
Sven. It's a classic Space Wolf name. Here we go. Sven Iron Axe.
All right.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean,
it's okay. Sven Iron Axe. It's
I'm glad you noticed. I'm working on my legs a lot these days. Oh, it's Iron Axe, not Iron Ass. All right, gotcha.
Oh.
All right.
Is the ass part of your legs? Do you consider that, or do you consider it part of your back?
I consider it part of my legs.
I do too.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's somebody out there who thinks.
Well, here's the thing. There's an anatomical lesson that goes my neck, my back, my pussy, and my crack. Those are 4 distinct parts of the body.
Some people don't have asses; they just have backs and then legs.
Like Hank Hill.
Yes, like Hank Hill. All right, I am highly anticipating my Space Wolf name, Sven Iron Axe.
Okay. That is a 43, so Branach.
It sucks already.
And a 65, so Branach Frost Crow. You got a bird in there.
I mean, Frostco is pretty cool, but Branach? The fuck out of here, Branach.
Yeah, Brack Cold Bird.
That's better. Branach. All right, that's the Space Wolves Crusade section, gang. Again, Space Wolves are stupid. This Crusade section is actually really cool. And I think that when it comes to having fun in the rules, like Space Wolves definitely have the market cornered for Space Marines. And I like that about them a lot. So maybe I'm turning around on Space Wolves here.
Yeah, hey, you started by saying they had like really strong himbo energy, which is a just strict positive. You know what, Dan? I'm just glad that you and I could get a couple tankards of Mjod and pull up by the fire and let the old younglings sit around and listen to us ramble on and entertain a couple of old men.
You know what sucks?
Everything.
About that sentence, yes. Okay, let's move on. Fact or fan fiction?
With Kyavar in flames and the Hydra's laughter ringing in his ears, Corvus Corax swore to rebuild his legion with more traditional techniques.
Who wrote this? Did Jersey write this?
He began a work of logistical boldness, consolidating legionaries and gene seeds from war zones across a galaxy in flames. The sector's largest concentrated supply of untainted gene seed sped through a frozen gorge in an unmarked mag train. Unseen to all, a single Astartes threw himself at the back, rolling to a stop. The figure touched his vox bead and heard a voice like a steel razor along smooth stone. Mission status, Apothecary? Objectives Primus, Secundus, and Quintus secured without incident, Hero Master. Apothecary Sabat climbed pre-carved handholds up the gorge as the mag train hurtled away. Exfiltration in progress. And Packet Theta? Sabat's mouth twitched, noting a slight catch in his superior's voice. Even Hero Master Salonius was unwilling to speak its name aloud, still unsure of the greater forces at work. The Hydra had many heads, some more wary of each other than their prey. I deployed the mutagenic gene binders myself. Sabat's smirk widened, taking a perverse thrill in speaking plainly on the open vox. One of every dozen or so gene seed will restabilize their melanchromatic organ. By the time Corax's brood notice, it will be far too late. But you were supposed to accelerate their genetic deviancy, and some Astartes will have almost no mutations at all. It was too perfect. The pieces were all in place. Sabat's face finally split into a wolfish grin as he cackled across the box. Precisely. Now Dan Boyd can paint his Raven Guard whatever the hell skin tone he wants. A brief pause. But he can do that already. I mean, did you see the man's blade guard? That armor, those reds. You can't see it, but I'm doing a chef's kiss with my power fist. Now at the top of a nearby hillock, Apothecary Sabat nodded as he activated his extraction homer. But Hero Master, this is a 100% completely legitimate Black Library publication, which means whether or not it actually happened, it's totally canon. I see. Good work, Apothecary. Hydra Dominatus. Hydra Dominatus, Sabat whispered into the mountain air. He thumbed Twitter's activation rune on his Vampirist cogitator. Now, female Space Marines. Excerpt from 100% canon Black Library story by Gordon Black Library. Copyright Games Workshop. All rights reserved.
You know, that Gordon Black Library, he sure knows how to spin a tail, huh, Campbell?
Yeah, he's really cranking them out even faster than fucking Guy Haley.
Well, it's always good when It's always good when the story tells you that it's 100% Black Library. I appreciate that. Makes my job a lot easier. So I noticed that there were a couple of fan fiction entries in our email. And whenever people put fan fiction entries in the email, I don't read them.
Thank you.
For this exact reason, because it's not funny on the show if I'm reading it in advance. So, no, that's great. I love that. But that is, of course, 100% real Black Library fiction, not fan fiction.
Well, it is called Black Library Retype 010421.docx, which does make me think it is legitimate, although last I checked, our regular listener and creator of Inquisitor Cool Hat, Eric Atkinson, is not currently employed by Games Workshop as a freelancer or otherwise. So I think this is fan fiction, although it's real damn close.
I got tricked.
You did get bamboozled.
Eric Atkinson, he's been engaging with the show more than anybody lately.
Yeah, no, he has been. And I passed, he actually sent us an email thanking, basically wanting to extend thanks to Eric Beers for helping him weave the tale of Inquisitor Cool Hat in the fan fiction that we have read on the air.
Well, Eric, thank you so much for writing in. That was a lot of fun. And I appreciate the sentiment. And yes, I am allowed to paint my Raven Guard whatever the fuck skin color I want.
As well, you should.
All right, let's do a couple plugs and get the fuck out of here, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go for it.
Goonhammer, we mentioned Goonhammer already. Go there, read the stuff. I write for it. He writes for it. Go do it.
Yep.
Social media, Twitter, @DB_sleazy, @BrotherSRM. There's a guy who's not on Twitter anymore, and that's good.
That is good. That's really good. It's become a slightly, actually, it's become a much better place pretty recently, actually. It's great.
The world has become a better place since that one guy got kicked off Twitter, because now we're not constantly talking about what he's screaming into the void. And I appreciate that.
As do I. Now I can scream into the void on my own time about other things.
Yes. You can get at Campbell at Tumblr, Cam2D. Look at his models.
Yeah.
Maybe send him a message. It makes him feel good. You want to make him feel good, don't you?
Yeah, I want you to make me feel good. And if you want to see my my halfling team, they'll hopefully be up either on my Tumblr, cam2d.tumblr.com, and or on my Twitter, and or on our Facebook page.
You got to get your butt going over here and post pictures of those Hawaiian shirts, because I am thirsty for some chubby boys in Hawaiian shirts.
Well, enough about our fan base.
Listeners, if you want to send pictures of you wearing Hawaiian shoits?
Shoits?
Oh, God.
Yeah, a couple of Hawaiian shoits.
It's been a whole month.
You wear your Hawaiian shoits with your khaki shoits.
Hey, why don't you wear some Hawaiian shoits over here?
Yeah.
All right,
Go
listeners. Listeners,
yeah.
I want to see your bodies encased in Hawaiian shirts. Send them to me.
The most flattering of all garments. I also would like to let you know that you can support us if you want to, for whatever reason, on Patreon at Patreon 40k Badcast, whatever, fucking, there's a URL. Just search Patreon 40k Badcast. You'll fucking find it. We also have a store where we sell merchandise, including apparently soon an 8-bit piece of shit t-shirt at shop.spreadshirt.com.
Stickers. Buy the stickers, idiots.
Yeah, buy the stickers and slap
oh
them
my
wherever
God,
the fuck
buy
you
the
want.
fucking stickers. Put them on shit. Send us pictures of where you've put the vandalized things.
Yeah, do some cool vandalism, but only cool vandalism.
Crimes. Do some uncool vandalism. I don't give a fuck. Just do it.
Do a vandalism with our logo at shop.spreadshirt.com/40k Badcast.
And our fucking mark ass buster listeners aren't going to do that shit. None of our listeners are cool enough to go out there and do crimes in our name.
Not a one of them. It's so lame.
I would not. Hey, listeners, I got 2 words for you. You won't. You won't.
Yeah.
Fucking listeners.
Well, if you do want to help some, if you're a masshole like this, recovering / unapologetic masshole, and you do want to help some stores that have had some uncool crimes done to them, a bunch of hobby shops such as Hobby Bunker, Alpha Omega Hobby, and Kamikaze all got recently broken into. Basically, people were breaking into them at night and stealing magic cards. So if you want to give them some business and help them out, go ahead and do that.
Magic cards, man. Not even once.
Yeah, no, there's a reason they're the most addictive chem in Fallout 2.
I don't know what that means. All right, Campbell, it's time for a quote.
Well, this one is attributed to Inquisitor Malden, which is fitting as it's the town I just moved from.
Nice.
You get more with a kind word and an excruciator than with just a kind word.
How about we take that around the block a second time, huh?
You get more with a kind word and an excruciator than with just a kind word.
I don't know what an excruciator is, Campbell, but it sounds pleasant.
I assume it's kind of like a gom jabbar.
Oh, the Jam Gabar.
The Jamok Gabor.
The Flam Kaport. The Crew Blurb. Are you excited for this Dune movie? We're talking about Dune now.
I am excited for this Dune movie if it ever comes out.
I should reread Dune. I read it once in college and I thought it was okay. And I feel like maybe if I give it a shot as an adult, maybe I'll like it more.
I too should reread Dune now that I live in the desert.
All right, gang. We're the 40k Badcast. We're bad at 40k. We're bad at podcasting. We're bad at reading. We're not bad at deserts, though. We're actually very good at deserts. Not a lot of people know this about us, but we're very good at deserts.
Just ace survival skills.
We'll see you in the next cartoon when I am looking at Campbell and he's looks like a delicious roast turkey and I'm licking my lips thinking, wouldn't that be nice? Campbell, your thoughts?
I look forward to you levitating off the ground on my smell trail, coming towards me and bashing against my window.
Your fucking smell trail. All right, gang, we'll see you. Thanks for listening.